Welcome to the It's in Queens podcast. I'm your host, Jeff Simmons, and this is the only podcast dedicated exclusively to Queens, the borough that truly has it all, offering an unparalleled mix of cultures, communities, and experiences. This podcast comes to you each week thanks to the Queens Tourism Council and the Queens Economic Development Corporation. This borough is one of the most diverse places, not just in New York City, but in the entire world. With an estimated population of about 2.3 million people, in 2025 it ranks as the second largest borough in the city and the second most populous county in New York State. The demographics here reflect a mosaic of ethnicities where no single group holds a majority. The borough's residents come from all corners of the globe, creating a vibrant, multicultural tapestry that defines Queens. The racial and ethnic breakdown in Queens is remarkably diverse. About 28% of the population identifies as white, around 26% is Asian, 17% is Black or African American, and nearly 28% as Hispanic or Latino. The Hispanic and Latino community itself is richly varied, with Colombians, Puerto Ricans, Ecuadorians, Dominicans, and Mexicans among the largest groups. Queens is home to over 80,000 Mexican residents who form a vital and growing part of the borough's cultural and social landscape. And this diversity is reflected in the rich array of amenities and cultural institutions across our borough that celebrate Mexican culture and heritage. The borough boasts many authentic Mexican restaurants, taquerias, bakeries, and markets offering traditional cuisine from tacos and tamales to regional specialties. Neighborhoods such as Corona and my neighborhood of Jackson Heights have bustling Mexican communities with vibrant storefronts selling everything from Mexican crafts to specialty foods. And beyond the cultural delights, Queens hosts cultural centers, art galleries, and community organizations that are dedicated to promoting Mexican art, music, and festivals. Public events feature Mexican folkloric dance, mariachi performances, celebrations tied to traditional Mexican holidays. These festivities invite the entire community to experience and appreciate the heritage and contributions of the Mexican population in our borough. The deep cultural fabric is one of the many reasons why this borough is considered a microcosm of global diversity within our country. So that's why I'm really excited this week to spotlight an exciting cultural festival that's going to take place soon at Flushing Town Hall. It's an event, MexFest, that highlights the spirit and creativity of the community, featuring music, art, food, and so much more. So joining me this week are two very special guests, Arantxa Araujo and Christian Avila, who are deeply involved in celebrating and promoting cultural events in Queens and, of course, at Flushing Town Hall. Christian and Arantxa, welcome to the It's in Queens podcast.
Thank you so much, Jeff. Thanks for having us.
So let me start off with you, Arantxa. How is it working together on MexFest, and how has that influenced your own artistic practices?
For sure. Thank you so much for having us. Christian just said, for me, organizing and bringing community together has become an essential part of my artistic practice. I often do this through performance where I invite people to share an experience together, for example. For the past two Dia de los Muertos, I offered performances, and this year will be slightly different, but not too much. It will take the form of organizing a cultural event, but I still see it as a performance, bringing people together, bringing community together, and doing some kind of ritual. Really exciting for me. The exhibition reflects that spirit. It definitely honors ancestral techniques and symbols while also reimagining them for the present. You'll see a mix of traditional work alongside with new interpretations, and I believe that dialogue between the old and the new, between generations and disciplines, creates a powerful shared space for community, memory, and celebration, which this festival is all about.
And I'm going to get into more specifics about your individual careers in just a bit. But before we go further, Christian, why is Flushing Town Hall such a meaningful space for this type of event?
Flushing Town Hall's mission is to celebrate Queens' cultural diversity. Our multidisciplinary programming introduces audiences to new art forms and genres and cultures. And it also provides opportunities for artists to present and celebrate their traditional arts and culture. And like Arantxa was saying, we love melding traditional with something more modern, more contemporary, more cutting edge.
And Christian, I'll stick with you for a moment. What do you hope audiences experience? What can they expect from seeing this combination of art, ritual, and Mexican music, a mashup?
So to have tons of fun, dance, mingle, good food, drinks, but that's often expected from our Mexican culture. People gravitate towards us for those things. But I hope that we can go a little bit deeper and celebrate our spiritual and magical practices shared in community spaces.
And Arancha, that brings me to the next question because for some people who are not familiar with Dia de los Muertos, I'd love for you to talk about the traditions, but also a tradition or practice you encourage people to experience at this festival.
Yeah, for sure. So Dia de los Muertos, we usually have an altar. It's a space that we create with sometimes photography, sometimes food, candles, flor de cempasúchil, and we honor our ancestors, people that have passed. We remember, we tell stories. So in this particular altar, we are creating a couple of new things. We're going to create a mural, a place to tell our stories. So we are gonna invite everyone to take part on a collective ritual of remembrance through writing. We're gonna ask people that they share a calaverita, which is a typical Mexican form of writing for this day. We're gonna go through some examples. People can write a poem if they prefer, a memory, just a few words. They can, do just a word that remembers that person, and then they're gonna draw it or write it in a mural, and we're gonna have this mural in the space just to remember all stories as a communal space.
So let's get to know you a little more, and then we'll go over to Christian right after. But tell our listeners a little about your background.
Yeah, so my background is a little bit like interesting and a bit all over the place, but in a way, it makes something very unique. Like at some point, I was like, "Oh, I'm doing this and this and that," and now it's a way of like bringing all things together and like making myself me. So I have a little bit of performance and theater and dance, but also yoga, something like that's very much in the body and a way for me to like understand myself, but also to keep calm and also to keep sane. So somatic practices. And I also have a practice in neuroscience. So in many ways, my work always centers the body and the senses as portals for memory. In this event or performances, I generally design to engage with multiple senses in order to open different experiences because each sense activates a distinct part of the brain. In turn, they evoke particular emotions and memories. So I'll tell you an example. For example, the smell of cempasúchil flower can stimulate the reptilian brain, which is critical for strong, vivid memories. So I don't know if this has happened to you, but like sometimes you smell something and it takes you to that space. You're like, oh my God, this smell, my abuelita house in
Mm.
Morelos. And then like it really brings a story together. So I try to do that kind of thing of curation of senses in my performances, but also in cultural organizing. So this mural will have a lot of that. It'll have like some cempasúchil, perhaps some palo santo to bring like, this ritualistic aspect of it and like really connect, really place ourselves open for the experience.
It's so funny as you're speaking, I'm thinking of, certain smells when it pertains to food with me, and that'll take me back to something. I mean, initially my mind went to certain cups of coffee I've had over the years, but that's not the right example here. But certain foods that really bring back warm memories. Christian, let me move over to you. Your career and your affiliation with Flushing Town Hall. Would love for you to just tell our listeners a little about that.
Sure. I say that I'm a theater maker. I've done everything in theater, writing, producing, directing, curating. And right now I'm an administrator at Flushing Town Hall. I'm the executive and artistic associate. So right now I'm sort of on the administrative side and also getting to do my art. So it's interesting being in both places. All the work I do in my theater practice is collaborative, even playwriting, because the goal is always to have the piece staged. Um, I have found this amazing collaborator in Arancha, and having the support and to be able to divide all the work that goes into an event like this is everything. Last year at the inaugural MexFest at the Tank, Arancha and I both had our own shows that we created. Arancha's piece was amazing, by the way. She's an incredible artist. And curating and artistic directing is also a collaborative art form for sure.
So, how do you two, Christian? We'll start with you, and then I'm going to go over to Arancha to see if she agrees with that. Talk about your collaborative process and why you two work so well together, and then I want to hear Arancha's perspective.
Sure. I don't think we either of us knew because we've known each other for a while now in different spaces, in an acting space, in the theater festival last year, and then throughout the years, just socially. So we had honestly, I had no idea, and it has been the most amazing surprise. And one of the it's amazing to have a partner that is as dedicated, that is as passionate. That we're also really similar. I also didn't mention this, but I'm also a yoga instructor. And I also bring my yoga practices and my centering and in some ways the ritual of that to the ensemble that I work with. And so I think all those things that we share in common really help us. And we have a lot in common actually, and more things than not. So I think that helps a great deal.
Christian, what? I didn't know you were a yoga instructor. That's
Oh,
so amazing. Also,
so funny.
this is incredible because we've really known each other for a long time now. Maybe like 7, 8 years
Yeah.
at City Company. That's where we, met each other. And there's something with past culture that really brings people together. Like automatically I was like drawn to Christian. I was like, oh my God, and then slowly we got to see like we have so many things in common and we keep on learning that we both are yoga instructors. But I was gonna say I was gonna say that Christian, I was really like grateful that you came to me and was like, "Hey, would you like to collaborate with me in this iteration of the festival?" Because it really takes clarity and vision and energy to go through what you're doing right now, like creating a whole festival to bring people together of not only Mexican culture but also so many different cultures that you're bringing together and opening spaces for community. And to me, this is one of the most important things that my artistic practice is doing: performance, bringing space for experiences to happen and understand each other and create empathy. And I really see this festival as something incredible that you're doing. So, when you invited me to collaborate with you, I was like, yes, I want in on that mission because I see this as an extension of our artistic practice. Like, I really don't see, as I said, like I was all over the place at some point and thinking it was all over the place, but it's not. It all comes together in a beautiful way that I also do arts organizing in an organization called Foundation for Contemporary Arts. So, supporting artists in other ways. And those things are not separate. Those
Right.
are part of the same thing and part of our same missions and artistic statements. So thank you for the invitation, Christian. It's an honor.
Thank you. Oh, yeah, one correction. It's not me. This has definitely been a we. Every step of the way, this iteration has been a we. So I'm beyond grateful.
And Christian, why was it important to include, I know we stay out of politics in this podcast, but why was it important to include immigrant stories as part of this year's festival?
Um, yes. So I'm trying to stay not political. I've had so many friends that are separated from their loved ones. It doesn't necessarily mean that they're deceased, but there's a separation. And for years now, through whatever process they're going through to stay here, there is a separation. Some people have lost loved ones abroad. And so this is both, keeping with the tradition of Dia de los Muertos, that is, tends to be for the deceased, but also for those that are separated. So bringing and creating this space that we can share in this, and honoring their loved ones, to bring people together and to have communal mourning, laughter, creating the space that is safe for that. That's really why that's important.
And in our final minute or two, I want to come back to you, Arancha, before I make sure we recap with just the highlights of MexFest. But what role, Arancha, do you see art playing in helping communities process grief and celebrate ancestry?
Yeah, so definitely to have some kind of sense of connection with others. Like this is a communal event. It's not just one artist doing their work, but like many artists presenting the work to other artists. So like connection, release, writing can help us understand our emotions, find catharsis, for example, and honor those we've lost. But also by sharing all of these works with an altar, each person contributes to a collective space where memory, grief, and celebration come together. My hope is that everyone walks out of this exhibition feeling seen and supported.
Jeff,
And
can I go back to your last question real quick?
of course you
Because
can.
I just wanted because we're there's several sort of workshops and stations that will be available for the audience when they come in for the opening reception on November 1st. And one of those areas is we want to create a testimonial film, and we'll have this a mask there for the participants to wear the mask. And we all lost a lot when we come here. I'm an immigrant, and despite all the struggle, this country, continues to be full of promise and opportunity. And the participants are given this mask to wear to keep with the festivities, but also a way to keep everyone's identity protected. So I just wanted to bring that up as well.
And Christian, since you mentioned the workshop, I'd love for you to share any more details you would like our listeners to know about what they're going to experience if they show up for MexFest, which I hope they do.
So yes, thank you, Jeff. So right now we're inviting people to contribute to the community ofrenda, the altar, by bringing your offerings and memories to Flushing Town Hall. Now, ofrenda, an example of ofrenda is a photo, like Arancha mentioned, mementos like small objects, battery-operated candles, cempasúchil flowers, the marigold flowers, or any decoration, anything that reminds you of your loved one. And we'll be accepting those Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays from 11 to 4 until October 30th. The other thing I want to mention is that right now we have early bird pricing from October 5th through 10th. So if you go on our website, flushingtownhall.org, you can receive a 20% discount on the tickets to the Mexican mashup. And the last thing I'll say is that the mashup, we have a tradition of a global mashup at Flushing Town Hall. And this year we're doing a Mexican mashup with these amazing artists, Linda EPO and Mariachi Tapatio de Álvaro Paulino. So we're having a sort of contemporary band mashed with a traditional mariachi band. We're going to have a dance lesson beforehand. And so there's tons of things to do. This festival is from 6 to 10, and we look forward to seeing you.
If I may add something just to clarify. So this festival is a long festival. It's from 6 to 10, as Christian just said. And the exhibition part of it goes from 6 to 7:30. That's free to attend, free for all. And then the mashup starts at 7:30, Christian, or 8.
7:45.
And yeah,
Yep.
and those are the tickets that Christian's referencing that we have early bird. So
That's right.
it won't last for long. So make sure you get them while they're on early bird prices. It's really, I usually tend to leave tickets to the end and then I'm like, oh, there's no more tickets. So don't do that. Go get the tickets. We'll see you there. We're so excited.
Thank you so much, Jeff. This has been great. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Jeff.
Muchas gracias.
If you're interested in attending the festival or you just want to experience more of the Borough's vibrant events, well, make sure to get your tickets soon. Get them now. Here's where you need to go: flushingtownhall.org. flushingtownhall.org. I'm repeating that because I want you to make sure to get those tickets. If you're looking for other things to do in Queens this month or next, well, you're in luck. Rob Mackay from the Queens Economic Development Corporation and the Queens Tourism Council returns this week with a roundup of some of the more exciting events that are happening in Queens.
Hi, Jeff. Well, we all know that the Mets didn't make postseason play this year, but do not fret because the Bayside Historical Society is going to host a game of vintage baseball at the Fort Totten soccer fields this October 11th at 11 a.m. There's actually a volunteer group of men. They live out in Long Island, and they play baseball the way it was played in the 1860s. They wear replicas of the uniforms. They use period appropriate balls and bats. And of course, they don't use gloves because they hadn't been invented at that juncture. They play by the rules back then. And they go by the name of the New York Mutuals. So they are going to be playing against, believe it or not, the Bayside Little League coaches, parents, and kids at those soccer fields on Totten Avenue and 15th Road. They've done it before, and they're actually back by popular demand. It's a very fun day. If the weather is nice, it's just a great place to hang out and watch people who are really just playing for the love of the game. And some of them actually reenact real people who played for the Mutuals back when baseball was really just sort of like a sandlet pickup game. Hope you can join me there. The first box of Cracker Jack is on me, Jeff. All right? Thanks. Bye.
Thanks, Rob. That just scratches the surface of all the wonderful things that are happening in our borough. To stay in the loop on everything that's happening in Queens, make sure to visit the It's in Queens website at itsinqueens.com. And if you're interested in business updates or resources on how to grow your enterprise here, well, then visit the QEDC's website at queensny.org. It is a must-visit website. And when you're there, sign up for the newsletter. You'll get the latest news and opportunities delivered right in your inbox. And when you get out and explore Queens this month or next, make sure to capture your favorite moments. Snap a photo, share it with us, and tag us on Instagram or X using the hashtag #It'sInQueens, because your photo could become our photo of the week. And of course, I would love to see some dynamic and vibrant images from MexFest at Flushing Town Hall. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Jeff Simmons, your host, and that wraps up another episode of the It's in Queens podcast. So keep exploring, because everything you're looking for is right here in Queens.